Hello dear students, so welcome to the next session of the Living World. So today we are going to discuss the continued part of the consciousness as a property of a living organism. See, when it comes to the living organisms such as the human beings or the humans, it becomes more difficult to define the living state. So why it becomes difficult to define the living state in the human beings? So here the best example we can give for that is the human beings who are suffering from coma, who entered into coma and lying in the hospitals. So the human patients lying in the coma in hospitals. Such patients are virtually supported by machines. So they are virtually supported by machines. So these machines replace the functions of organs such as heart, lungs, and even kidney. So if there is no virtual support given by the machines to replace the functions of the organs such as the heart, lungs, and then the kidney, the person will die. Such person will die. So if not replaced by these machines, otherwise such patient is brain dead. So they are brain dead. What is the meaning of this one? The patients who are lying in coma in hospital are virtually supported by machines, otherwise they may die, and as they are not going to respond for any of the stimuli, so they are called as brain dead. You might have seen in movies also, the one who enters into the coma, they can see the surrounding things, but they never respond for that changes or anything appears surrounding them. Such persons are called as brain dead. So in such condition, it becomes very difficult to call or define the livingness for such patients or the human individuals. So when they are virtually supported by the machines, because of that only they are able to breathe, and able to circulate the blood to the various parts of the body. Why? Because their functions are replaced by the machines. If there is no virtual support by the machines, means they will die immediately. So here they are living because of the functions carried out by the machines here. So that such persons can be called as living or non-living. So it is very difficult to call them as living or the non-living. So it is difficult to define whether they are living or non-living. Living or non-living. So when they are virtually supported with the machines, they are living because of the effort of that machines. If that machines are removed, means they may die. So they becomes dead. So that livingness is not because of their own accord here, but it is because of the functions carried out by such machines which give virtual support. So only the person who entered into coma, such person cannot be considered as a living also or non-living also. So remember this one. Note on these points now, and later we'll discuss regarding the emergence of the organization. So the next aspect is how the organism becomes living, or how a tissue or the organ becomes living, or the living tissue means. See, in higher classes you will get to know that all living phenomena are due to the underlying interactions. Let us understand and elaborate the meaning of this sentence. That is, all living phenomena are due to underlying interactions. For example, if you collect the particles of the sand and you will bring them together, or if you add some glue or a sticky substance between them, if they are held together, is those sand particles or the soil particles will become alive, or it becomes a living thing? No. Why it will not become living then? And when the cells are grouped together to form a tissue, then the tissue will be living when it is present in the living organisms. So how that cell has become living and how that tissue has become living? Okay. So what is the underlying interaction, which made them to become living or alive? Let us see that examples now. See, this can be understood with a few examples. Say for example, cells give rise to the formation of tissues. We already know that one. The cells which are performing the similar functions and sharing the common origin and structure will give rise to the formation of a structure called as a tissue. So here tissue is formed by many cells. So the livingness of this tissue is not present in the constituent cells. Andre ಹಲವಾರು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಜೊತೆಯಾಗಿ ಸೇರಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Then how the tissue becomes living, or from where that livingness comes to that tissue? A livingness ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಗೆ? So livingness of tissue is not present in constituent cells, but comes from interactions between constituent cells. Interaction between constituent cells. So let us give a very common example for you in order to understand this one. So in your classroom, say for example 30 to 40 students are there for classroom means, if all of you sit together without interacting to each other, is there any relationship forms between you, or is that relationship gains any livingness there? No, right? Until and unless you interact with each other, no relationship forms between you and the fellow sitting beside you. Similarly here, only if cells are grouped and forms a particular tissue, then the tissue will not become living. When such cells interact among themselves, that interactions make the tissue alive or the living. Right? So when you speak to your friend or when you speak to your classmate, then only a friendship may develop between you and your classmate. If you don't interact means no friendship forms, no relationship forms, right? Similarly here, when the cells interact with each other, then that makes the tissue living. That is what the meaning of this sentence. So livingness of a tissue is not present in constituent cells, but the livingness comes from the interactions between the constituent cells. Understood, guys? That is one example. Similarly, one more examples also you can take. So within a cell, say for example within the cell, a nucleus is present, okay, and mitochondria are present, ribosomes are present, like that many organelles are present. So a livingness of cell is not present, livingness of cell is not present in its constituent cell organelles. Then where it is present? So cell is formed of various organelles bounded by the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. So only if such cell organelles are present and it is bounded by the plasma membrane and they are embedded in a liquid called as that is cytoplasm, means simply the cell will not become alive or cell will not become the living cell. Then what is required here? The cell is not, or the livingness of the cell is not present in its constituent organelles, but the livingness of cell lies in interactions between constituent cell organelles. Interaction between constituent cell organelles. So what is the meaning of this? Which cell organelles are giving rise to the formation of that cell? When they interact with each other, then only that cell becomes living. Only organelles are present and it formed a cell means the cell will remain as means cell will not become a living. That livingness is only because of the interactions between that constituent components or the organelles. Is it clear, guys? So take down these two examples now. Later we will discuss one more example. Similarly, the few more discussions or examples we want to discuss for the underlying interactions means, see, we got to know cell organelle is formed by the constituent biomolecules. Our biomolecules give rise to the formation of a particular cell organelle. So the livingness of that cell organelle is not present in the constituent biomolecules, but its livingness lies in interactions between the constituent molecules comprising it or comprising the cell organelle. Say for example, a mitochondria is present. So which biomolecules give rise to the formation of that mitochondria? When they interact with each other, that interactions between the constituent molecules makes that mitochondria living. That is what the meaning of this sentence. So, as we have discussed three examples here, in all that examples, only the underlying interactions between the constituent components make that structure living. So, here the interactions results in emergent properties at a higher level of organization. Interactions between the components which give rise to the formation of next level of structure that gives emergent properties at the higher level of organization. So let's understand here with the one more sentence here. That is, this phenomena of underlying interactions is true in hierarchy of organizational complexity at all levels. What is the meaning of this means? See, various cells which perform the similar functions and sharing the common origin and structure, they give rise to the formation of a particular tissue. So the livingness of the tissue is present or lies in interactions between the constituent cells. Such tissues which are performing the similar function, okay, interactions between such tissues give rise to the formation of a particular organ. So the livingness of organs lies in the interaction between the constituent tissues. ಯಾವ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇಂದ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಆ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ನಡುವೆ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್. ಸಚ್ ದ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ interact with each other to form an organ system, then only organ system becomes living. When such various organ systems performing or functions, various functions for the livingness of an organism, so the interaction between the organ systems give rise to the formation of organism which is living. So the livingness of an organism, for example, human being. So I am a living organism. So what makes me to be alive means interactions between the various organ systems present in my body. Interaction between the various organs present in my body. Interactions between various tissues present in my body. Interactions which are present in various cells which are present in my body. So in all these organization, cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization, organ system level of organization, in all these levels of organization, what is present here, what is common here? Nothing but interactions. So the underlying interactions only forms any system or the any structure living. So is that clear? So this is what? That is a hierarchy of organizational complexity, nothing but from the smaller one or the simpler organization to the complex. So cells are the simpler structures, tissues are complex structures compared to cells, organs are more complex structures compared to tissue, organ system is more complex than the organs, and organism is a complex structure of all these levels of organization. Is it clear, guys? Okay. Next, by all these examples we can say that what living organisms means. The living organisms are nothing but they are self-replicating, evolving as a complete organism, self-organizing, and a system that is a self-regulating interactive system which is capable of responding to external stimuli. The stimuli may be biological, physical, or the chemical. So organism is, what is that one? Self-replicating, evolving, self-organizing, and self-regulating interactive system which is capable of responding to external stimuli. So what do you mean by here self-organizing? Means how the tissues or the organs are organized and present in a particular position in our body, a particular place in our body. Why eyes are present here only? Why eyes are located here only? Okay. Why tongue is located here only? Why the hands and then the legs are located in particular position only? So it is not like that. Okay, the tongue is present in mouth in my body and the tongue is present in other part in others body. It's not like that, right? So in all human beings, these parts will be present in the same locations. Who organized it? ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಹೋಗಿ ಅದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಈ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕಂತ? ನೋ, ರೈಟ್? ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ self-organized. The tissues, organs and organ systems which are present in our body, they are self-organized. That is what called as self-organizing. So these are the properties of the living organisms. So living organism means self-replicating, evolving, self-organizing and self-regulating interactive systems. Is it clear, guys? Make a note of these parts now. So by all this, now we are able to define what biology is. So here the biology is nothing but, so biology is the story of a life on earth, a life on earth. Or the biology is the story of evolution of living organisms. Evolution of living organisms on earth means how living organisms are evolved on the earth. How come such a huge or the complex organism produced or appeared on the earth? Nothing but because of the interactions between constituent molecules, cells, tissues, organs and organ systems, how it gave rise to the formation of living organisms on the earth. That story is only biology. So biology is the story of evolution of organisms on the earth. How come different type of organisms evolved on the earth? So when you look around you, you will not see only the human beings. You see many other type of creatures such as plants, microorganisms can be seen with the help of the microscope, right? And tiny insects, ant, and even the huge animals such as the elephant you can see in the forest, right? And also the nearby animals are the very common animals such as the dog, or the pig, the donkey, horse, and even the various birds. So many type of living organisms are present, right? So the biology is the story of evolution of all these living organisms. And the living organisms, such living organisms are all living organisms of present, means what all other types of the living organisms are present now. Present, past means those which were present before but now they have got extinct. Dinosaurs. So once upon a time dinosaurs were the most dominant animals on the earth, but now they are no more on the earth. And also the future animals means the what type of organisms to be formed or produced in future days. So all these living organisms are linked together. They are linked to one another. So how they are linked to one another means by sharing common genetic material. Here the genetic material is nothing but the DNA or the RNA. This is what the biology means. So this is enough for today's class. And next, diversity in the living organisms, and very important topic for the PU, CET as well as the NEET, we will discuss in tomorrow class. Hope you have enjoyed today's class. Okay, so make note of these points. Thank you guys.